Picture this. You're on a path, moving steadily toward a life filled with wisdom, resilience, and inner peace. You've got a clear vision of who you want to be, guided by Stoic philosophy, strong, virtuous, and unshakable. But suddenly, along this path, certain people start appearing. They pull you off track, steal your energy, and derail your progress without you even realizing it. These people, if left unchecked, can stop you from becoming the best version of yourself. Who are these people? And why does Stoicism, a philosophy that's been guiding individuals for centuries, warn us so strongly about them? Today, we'll dive deep into the 7 types of people that Stoicism advises us to avoid. If you want to stay grounded, grow in wisdom, and navigate life with inner tranquility, recognizing and steering clear of these individuals is crucial. In Stoicism, one of the core teachings is mastering your mind and actions while accepting that external events, including the behaviors of others, are beyond your control. Stoics like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and challenge you to be better. But equally important is recognizing those who don't. These people can corrupt your mindset, pull you into unnecessary drama, or drown your progress in negativity. But the warning isn't simply to avoid these people as a means of judgment. No, Stoicism is a philosophy of personal growth, of inner tranquility, and of becoming better through self-discipline and wisdom. These individuals, when present in your life, can disrupt your growth by introducing distractions, emotional chaos, or damaging thought patterns. So it's not about avoiding them because they're bad people. Everyone has their struggles. Instead, it's about protecting your mental peace and growth. You have a responsibility to yourself, and sometimes that responsibility involves making hard choices about the company you keep. In today's video, we're not just going to list these 7 types of people. No, we're going to go deep into why they are harmful and how Stoicism offers actionable strategies to protect yourself from their influence. Let's begin with the first type of person you need to be wary of. Type number 1. The complainer. We all know them. The person who, no matter how good things are, always finds something to criticize. It might be the weather, their job, or even the food at a restaurant. It's almost like they've made it their mission to point out everything wrong in life. But here's why Stoicism warns us about complainers. Their negativity is contagious. In the same way a constantly dripping faucet wastes water, complainers slowly drain your emotional energy. And in Stoicism, one of the highest virtues is to maintain tranquility, something you cannot do if you're constantly exposed to negativity. One of the key tenets of Stoicism is that we cannot control external circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them. The complainer, with their constant focus on the negative, goes against this very principle. Instead of accepting life's natural ebbs and flows, they choose to resist and complain. What this does, however, is create a perpetual cycle of dissatisfaction, one that can infect those around them. Imagine trying to cultivate an inner sense of peace while a complainer constantly chirps in your ear about everything that's wrong. Their focus on the negative is like a virus that spreads, slowly but surely pulling you away from your calm center. So, what's the solution? Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This advice is golden when it comes to dealing with complainers. You can't control their behavior, but you can control how much of it you allow to affect you. Limiting exposure to such people is crucial. When avoidance isn't possible, say, if they're a colleague or family member, practice mental distancing. Imagine their complaints like rain falling outside your window. Yes, it's noisy, but you're safe indoors, untouched. This mental distancing is a critical skill for any aspiring Stoic. It means recognizing the difference between what belongs to you, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and what belongs to others, their complaints, their frustrations, their negativity. By doing this, you retain your power and refuse to be drawn into their vortex of negativity. It's not an act of dismissal. Rather, it's a conscious choice to preserve your peace. A practical Stoic strategy here is to redirect conversations toward solutions. If someone is endlessly complaining about their job, for instance, ask them, what can be done to improve the situation? This helps move away from mere negativity and refocuses the dialogue toward productive outcomes. Type number 2, the drama magnet. If complainers drain your energy, drama magnets pull you into whirlpools of chaos. They seem to always be in the middle of some conflict or controversy, whether it's at work, within a social group, or even in their personal life. Wherever they go, drama follows. Now here's why Stoicism finds this type so dangerous. Drama magnets disrupt your inner peace. Imagine you're on a ship, calmly sailing through life, and then suddenly, a storm appears out of nowhere, caused by someone else's endless crises. Stoicism teaches us to stay grounded, to remain calm amid life's inevitable storms. But when you constantly have a drama magnet in your life, it's like intentionally steering your ship into a hurricane. Drama magnets thrive on attention. Their crises, real or imagined, are a way to draw others in, making them feel important or validated. But here's the thing. Every time you allow yourself to be sucked into their whirlwind of chaos, you sacrifice a piece of your tranquility. For a Stoic, tranquility is not just a fleeting state, it is a foundational goal. Stoicism emphasizes emotional resilience and self-control, both of which are eroded when you allow yourself to be embroiled in unnecessary drama. Drama magnets often draw you in by making you feel like you need to get involved, solve their problems, or take sides in their conflicts. A classic Stoic response to this is called selective availability. It's about creating boundaries to protect your mental peace. Epictetus said, "We should not give circumstances the power to rouse anger, for they don't care at all." The same can be said of people who stir up drama. Their chaos is not yours to fix. You have the right and the responsibility to guard your inner tranquility. And this is where Stoicism teaches us a profound lesson. Just because someone invites you into their storm, doesn't mean you have to accept the invitation. You can acknowledge their feelings without getting swept up in the drama. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you lack empathy. It means you recognize that you cannot solve other people's problems for them, nor should you be expected to. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and we can certainly control how much of our emotional bandwidth we give to someone else's chaos. The best way to deal with a drama magnet is to limit your involvement. Be empathetic, but don't get sucked in. One practical method is to practice reflective listening. When they come to you with their latest drama, repeat their words back to them without offering advice or taking sides. This shows you care, but it also helps you stay detached from the whirlwind they're trying to pull you into. Type number 3, the naysayer. Next up, we have the naysayer, someone who never hesitates to point out all the reasons why your plans, dreams, and aspirations won't work. These are the people who, instead of offering constructive criticism, sow seeds of doubt and negativity. Imagine you're building something, a career, a creative project, or even a healthier lifestyle. The naysayer is the person who walks in and immediately starts poking holes in everything you're doing. According to Stoic philosophy, this type of person can significantly undermine your progress, as their negativity can seep into your own thinking. The naysayers are particularly dangerous because they often cloak their negativity in the guise of helpful advice. They might say things like, "I'm just being realistic," or "I don't want to see you fail." But their words often come from a place of fear or insecurity rather than wisdom. In Stoic terms, the naysayer represents a challenge to your rational mind. They introduce emotional turbulence by making you second-guess yourself, and that's where the real danger lies. Stoicism teaches us to trust our judgment, but also to remain adaptable and open to feedback. However, not all feedback is constructive, especially if it comes from someone who hasn't walked the path you're on. In Stoicism, you're encouraged to focus on what you can control. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Naysayers put obstacles in your path, but the Stoic lesson is to turn these obstacles into stepping stones. How do you deal with a naysayer? One Stoic strategy is to shift their perspective. Instead of letting their negativity take root in your mind, challenge them to offer solutions. For example, if someone says, "You'll never succeed in that new job," ask them, "What would you recommend to increase my chances of success?" This tactic often deflates their negativity because it shifts the conversation toward constructive thinking. Remember, the Stoics believe that external opinions should not govern your internal state. The naysayer's doubts are not your doubts unless you choose to adopt them. Stay focused on your goals, and let their skepticism fuel your determination rather than derail it. Type number 4, the victim. The victim is someone who always seems to be at the mercy of circumstances. They constantly crying how life is unfair, how they've been wronged, or how they're powerless to change their situation. This mindset is the opposite of what Stoicism teaches. Stoicism is about empowerment, about taking responsibility for your own thoughts and actions, no matter what life throws at you. The victim, on the other hand, gives away their power. They view themselves as passive participants in life, rather than active creators of their own fate. Stoicism warns us about the victim because their mindset can subtly influence you. It's easy to start adopting a similar mentality when you spend too much time around someone who always blames external forces for their problems. The victim is constantly looking for sympathy or validation, and while it's natural to feel compassion, it's crucial not to get dragged into their worldview. Stoics believe in accepting what you cannot control and focusing on what you can. The victim, however, refuses to acknowledge their own role in their life's challenges. This disempowerment, if absorbed by you, can erode your sense of agency and resilience. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of mental resilience and personal responsibility. He stated, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The victim, by contrast, constantly reacts to life as if it's something being done to them, rather than something they can shape. While empathy is important, you must recognize that adopting a victim mentality yourself is counterproductive to personal growth. To handle the victim, Stoicism advises compassion, but not indulgence. Offer support, but also encourage them to recognize their own power. For example, when they start complaining about how unfair life is, remind them of the Stoic teaching that suffering is part of life, and that true power lies in how we respond to that suffering. One practical way to help shift their mindset is by asking them, "What can you control in this situation?" This simple question, inspired by the teachings of Epictetus, helps reframe their perspective. Rather than focusing on what has been done to them, they start thinking about their own actions and responses. Over time, this subtle shift in dialogue can help nudge them away from their victim mentality and toward a more empowered state of mind. Type number 5. The toxic positivist. At first glance, you might think, wait, how can positivity be toxic? The toxic positivist is someone who insists that everything must always be framed in a positive light, to the point where they deny or dismiss the very real struggles and emotions of others. On the surface, this might not sound harmful, but Stoicism teaches us that true wisdom comes from understanding and accepting life's ups and downs. Imagine you're going through a tough time. Maybe you've lost your job or a relationship has ended. The toxic positivist will tell you to just be happy or look on the bright side, dismissing your feelings in the process. While positivity has its place, Stoicism teaches us to face reality head-on, not to avoid it with blind optimism. Stoicism encourages positivity, yes, but it also encourages acceptance of reality, including the difficult, painful parts. Toxic positivism is dangerous because it forces you to suppress genuine emotions or challenges under a veneer of false cheerfulness. This can lead to emotional repression, which ultimately causes more harm than good. The toxic positivist believes that negative emotions are something to be avoided at all costs. They often see life as a series of affirmations and motivational quotes, rather than a complex tapestry of experiences, both good and bad. But here's where they clash with Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us that suffering and hardship are inevitable parts of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Life throws challenges at us, And it is in how we face these challenges that we grow. The toxic positivist, however, runs away from any challenge that doesn't fit into their sunny worldview. This denial of reality is not only unhelpful, but harmful, as it encourages emotional suppression. Stoics believe in emotional resilience, not avoidance. It's okay to acknowledge pain, sorrow, or frustration. The key is not to let these emotions control you. Toxic positivism, on the other hand, denies that these emotions even exist. This can create a superficial sense of happiness, but it's like building a house on a foundation of sand. It won't last when life's inevitable storms hit. When dealing with a toxic positivist, the best approach is honesty. Acknowledge their desire to be positive, but remind them that it's okay to have bad days, to experience sadness, or to face challenges head-on. Encourage balanced positivity, one that accepts the good and the bad rather than ignoring reality. Type number 6. The manipulator. Manipulators are masters of control. They're skilled at twisting situations, words, and emotions to suit their own needs, often at the expense of others. These people might use guilt, flattery, or even lies to get what they want. They can be subtle, making you think their requests or behaviors are for your benefit when, in reality, they're pulling strings to serve their own interests. From a Stoic perspective, manipulators are especially dangerous because they erode your autonomy. Stoicism teaches that personal freedom and self-governance are among the highest virtues. When someone manipulates you, they're attempting to control your emotions and actions, which goes against everything Stoicism stands for. Manipulators thrive on creating emotional responses in others, whether through guilt, fear, or even affection. And while emotions are natural, the Stoic goal is to ensure that your emotions are always under your control, rather than being controlled by external forces. One way to protect yourself from manipulators is to practice the Stoic virtue of discernment. Epictetus taught that we must always examine our impressions and ask, "Is this within my control?" Manipulators rely on your impulsive reactions, whether it's guilt or desire to please. The more they can predict your behavior, the easier it is for them to control you. Stoicism also teaches us the importance of clear boundaries. Manipulators often thrive on blurred lines, whether in personal relationships or professional settings. By establishing clear boundaries, you signal that your emotional world is not theirs to control. A useful Stoic tool for dealing with manipulators is simply this: time. Don't react impulsively to their requests or tactics. Instead, give yourself the space to reflect and decide on your own terms. This practice of delaying your reactions strengthens your autonomy and diminishes their ability to control you. Stay grounded and keep your values and principles at the forefront of your mind. Self-control is your ultimate power. When you refuse to be manipulated, you take control of your life, and in the process, you align yourself with the highest Stoic virtues of wisdom and autonomy. Type number 7, the envious. Finally, we come to the envious, the person who can't stand to see others succeed. Instead of celebrating your achievements, they downplay them, criticize you, or secretly root for your failure. Envy is a destructive force, not just for the person feeling it, but also for those around them. Stoicism warns us about the envious because they erode the joy and peace that come from living in alignment with your true self. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you're surrounded by envy, it's easy to let their negativity pollute your own thoughts, making you second-guess your worth or achievements. The envious are particularly insidious because their negativity often hides behind subtle comments or passive-aggressive behavior. They might not outright criticize your achievements, but they'll make remarks that undermine your success or make you feel guilty for your accomplishments. Envy is one of the most corrosive emotions, as it leads to bitterness and resentment. From a Stoic viewpoint, envy is irrational because it focuses on external circumstances beyond our control, namely, what others have or achieve. The Stoic path is one of internal growth and contentment with what you have, not a life of comparison with others. The Stoic way to deal with envious people is to remain centered in your own value system. Don't seek validation from others, especially those who are envious of you. Seneca advised that it is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. Envious people thrive on comparison, but if you refuse to play the comparison game, their power over you diminishes. When faced with envy, you can also practice generosity. By offering help or advice to those who envy you, you turn their negative emotions into an opportunity for connection and growth. This doesn't mean you should go out of your way to befriend envious people, but it does mean that you can disarm their negativity through your own virtuous actions. Conclusion. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the behaviors of others, we can control how we respond to them. By recognizing these 7 types of people, you can better guard your mind and maintain your inner peace. Each of these individuals represents a unique threat to your personal development. Some drain your energy, others pull you into chaos, and still others erode your confidence or autonomy. But here's the good news. By applying Stoic principles, you can protect yourself from their influence. The goal isn't to become cold or disconnected, but rather to cultivate discernment in your relationships. The company you keep matters, and your mental and emotional energy is a precious resource. Remember, the goal isn't to shut people out entirely, but to cultivate discernment in your relationships. Surround yourself with those who uplift and challenge you, and be wary of those who pull you down. Your mental and emotional energy is precious. Protect it wisely. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on living a stoic, resilient life. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay virtuous, and stay wise.